I do work with Nathan Wilson, who's representing in the UK and England. And his message is extremely, extremely important. And often, you know, as a single mum myself, we get a lot more attention and support than single dads do. So I'd love you just to be open again with another controversial person, I guess, and just listen, and, you know, see what you can do. But Nathan, I'm handing over to you for 15 minutes. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you very much, Nina. Hello, everyone. Just to let you know, I'm having real technical difficulties today, so I'm going to have to stop sharing my camera so I can share my screen. Otherwise, it's going to just mess everything up, if you don't mind. So, can everyone see that?
Yeah, it's clear. Thank you.
Perfect. So, today, I just want to touch on the effects that it has on dads and children after contact fails following a separation. So there are 2.4 million separated families in Great Britain alone, and 90% of the children primarily live with the mother. So who am I? So I am Nathan Wilson, the founder and CEO of Dad's Advocates. And if you were with me in Christmas of 2016, you would have found me fleeing an incredibly abusive relationship with my 2 toddler children. So I arrived at my mother's home, having dropped down to 7 stone from 14 stone after a year and a half of financial, psychological and emotional abuse. The belittling of myself, the mind games, financial abuse, threats of false allegations, gaslighting. Oh, I had nowhere to turn. I'd already been isolated and turned against my family, but I genuinely felt if I didn't leave at that moment in time, I would die and my children would have to fend for themselves. I'd been at my parents' house and within a few hours, the police turned up at my door and demanded I return the children back to their mother or face arrest. I was threatened I would never see my children again. My ex had messaged me telling me if I didn't return the children, she would accuse me of domestic abuse and even rape. I returned the children and instructed by the police, and I sunk further into depression and suicidal thoughts. For the next few months, the only way I could see my children was to pay a significant amount of money to the children's mother. But I was one of the rare fathers that actually received some help. So I was diagnosed with PTSD, and I gained the strength to take control back and apply to the family court. Almost immediately, I was accused in the family court of rape and domestic abuse, as the ex had already stated. Yet there was no reports from the police to say that this had ever happened. And in actual fact, I reported the accusations to the police beforehand. So the police actually went and asked my ex for dates and times of the allegations. And once it was all investigated, they found that I was sometimes to be hundreds of miles away, and we used CCTV to prove this. And from the day I left, I never ever stood foot back into her house. So the police helped me gain a non-molestation order and gave the evidence to the family court to prove that these allegations were false. And I realised that this doesn't usually happen to most fathers who have these allegations hanging over them for the rest of their lives. Eventually, I gained full custody of my children. So 6 years on from that, and after helping hundreds of dads online and in person around my full-time job, I finally made it official. I started Dad's Advocates. So as an adult, separating is one of the most difficult times you could ever go through. But what about the children involved in the separation? As adults, we have a fully developed mind, but the children don't have the luxury of understanding what's happening. So immediately, it is going to be extremely unhappy for the children. They want their parents to stay together. And for the immediate onset, this will cause behaviour problems. So their identity of life as they know it will be gone. Parents moving away, family and friends taking sides, family holidays, activities are gone. Their identity that they've ever known have completely been stripped away from them. The children feel guilt. Is it their fault that the parents just split up? Could they behave better? Was it something they'd done? They just don't understand that it's not about the children. So, and they can feel angry at both parents, but especially the one that's left, and that's usually the dad. They fear what's going on, what's happening at the time, and they fear that even the other parent might end up leaving them as well. So they're torn between both parents, both family sides, so the extended family, and they're confused about all the changes. Life as they know it. Have they had to move schools? Have they had to move from their family home? And they feel insecure that the loss of their life as they knew it, and this in turn can cause regression in life. But what about the impact on dads? So they feel the guilt as well. The failure. They feel failure that causing the pain to their children. They start to feel grief. The grief is a loss of relationship with their ex-partner, of lost a relationship with their child, as they know it, as they are no longer a present father. There's no official school rules, and they won't be able to do the school runs anymore. Waking up daily without seeing the children, or even putting the children to bed. They're grieving all of this. It's a punishment. So in a lot of cases, the children are weaponized, making it as difficult as possible for dads to see their children and keep the relationship going. They no longer have family support around them, as the extended family might have to side with the ex-partner just so that they can see the children. And feeling inadequate and cast out by family in the legal system. But what about the lasting effects? So research actually shows that with an active father figure, they have less behaviour problems than those that live solely with their mother. A study also shows that a lack of a father who is physically and psychologically involved in their children's life, it can increase the risk of derogatory actions such as smoking, drugs, poor communication skills, and even crime. A missing father can also greatly impact the children's academic achievements, as like we said earlier on, they start to regress. So here at Dad's Advocates, we have 3 pillars. We challenge the attitude barriers and gender inequalities for dads. So the first pillar is dads. So we help dads to create safe, consistent, and meaningful relationships with their children by reducing the parental conflict, creating a workable co-parenting strategy, if required, guiding dads through the court process. So the second one is children. We protect the children's rights by instilling a child-focused approach to co-parenting, reducing the high conflict that can come in turn with the separation. And society, the third pillar. So we campaign to change the legislation, policies, and attitudes facing dads, challenging stereotypes and breaking down society's barriers to meaningful fatherhood. And this brings us on to our project for 2023. So we aim to create an educational programme, not just nationwide, but worldwide, for professionals such as social workers, health visitors, teachers, medical staff, and support workers, and how to encourage equal rights for dads and understand the rights of the child to be present relationship with both parents. The programme will provide them with knowledge to recognise parental alienation and the skills to protect children and the dads from the devastating effects. We'll run these programmes in schools, nurseries, hospitals, local authorities, and conferences in person and online. Honestly, thank you for your time today. Well, let me come back off.